Hello, New York Knicks fans, and welcome to another episode of Jake's Hot Takes. I am your host, as always, Jake McVey, and today I'm joined here once again by my lovely co-host, Matthew Galgano. Matt, how are you feeling today?
Feeling fantastic.
If you weren't feeling good the other day, you should be feeling even better today.
Well, I hope the listeners are still feeling good today, so hopefully we get a win on 3:30 on Saturday, because this is a pre-recorded show.
Of course, naturally.
Weary, but as of right now, the Knicks are up 2-0 against the Celtics, and it's great about it, right?
It's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited about the situation we're in right now. I'll say that.
But is it looking good?
Yes, I will say, just as a prerequisite for the rest of the show, it is absolutely looking good. We do not need to be freaking out or things are moving in the right direction. If we had gone 1-1 in Boston or even 0-2 in Boston, I think I would be talking a much different tune. But being up 2 and going home, that's got to feel pretty good.
It is a good feeling, but the nature of these wins to me, it's something about it. It doesn't feel sustainable. I think in order for me to feel good about it, over these next 2 games, the Knicks would need to have a win that is comfortable. They can't go down 20 points again and come back from it. You know?
Yeah, but this is playoff basketball,
I know.
man. It's not like we're always going to be winning comfortably all the time. You know, I mean, we could barely win comfortably in the regular season.
Yeah.
I got no expectations of any smooth sailing during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, with this roster, man, smooth sailing isn't how I describe it, but we definitely come out on the other side in one piece. Jalen Brunson with an absolutely monstrous game, although the stat sheet wouldn't tell you that.
Monstrous fourth quarter.
Yeah, we'll say a monstrous fourth quarter.
Very monstrous fourth quarter, as he's been this whole time.
Yeah, he was quiet in the first quarter to the point where me and Matt were watching the game together, and I think we both individually commented on Brunson's lacking of prowess in the first 3 quarters of play. But he absolutely got it back together. He started hitting a couple of those long threes, a couple teardrop floaters here and there, really kept us in the game, not to mention the crucial 2 free throws at the end of the game to put us in winning position. So Brunson did a lot for us, and defensively he was definitely a presence.
Yeah. No, a great game from Brunson, but I think in the first 2 playoff games against the Celtics, McCall Bridges has been absolutely essential. He sealed the game both times with 2 steals, one against Jaylen Brown, one against Jason Tatum, and it's just looking fantastic for him. He came alive in the fourth quarter of Game 2. I think he had 0 points going into the fourth quarter, and then by the end of the fourth quarter, he had 14 points.
Yeah.
So huge in the fourth quarter, really, and his defense has been completely locked down. Very, very great to see that from him. Another guy who has just been absolutely essential for this team right now is Josh Hart. He's been absolutely elite guarding on the perimeter defense. And I know a lot of Celtics fans are like, oh, it's unlucky this spell of bad threes for the Celtics. I think the Knicks defense has just stepped up, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, and Hart
defense has really been good.
Yeah, and Hart plays a huge piece in that perimeter defense, that lethal perimeter defense. I mean, Hart is a guy who he's physical enough to be able to hang with some of your bigger guys. So a driving threat like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, he's going to be able to pick up those guys and put the clamps on them pretty well. Pretty much any time I saw Hart guarding Jaylen Brown, he wasn't going anywhere. And speaking of which, Jaylen Brown had a terrible game, one of the worst 20-point performances you'll ever see in the playoffs. 20 points, 8 for 23 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. Change on everything else. He didn't even hit double digits in rebounds or assists or nothing.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing the greatest over these past couple of games for the Celtics. But honestly, I know this sounds like an obvious thing, but the Celtics' closing offense has been abysmal.
Yeah, it has been.
They've just been terrible. They've been making bad decisions, going for threes instead of settling for easy 2s. And I really think that a big part of this is because Kristaps Porzingis is not as healthy as he should be going into this lineup, you know? I think they're really missing that size on the interior. And Kristaps was on the court a little bit in Game 2, but they're lacking. Really, the Celtics are really lacking the confidence to go into the paint against a guy like Mitchell Robinson or a guy like Josh Hart or Big Purr. You know, it's just everyone they're playing great paint defense, and the Celtics really aren't confident going into that area of the court.
Yeah, and I think, you blamed Porzingis' absence as a big piece of why the Celtics wouldn't be driving to the paint. I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's a Mazzulla issue right now. I don't think Joe is setting those boys straight in any way, shape, or form. I mean, when 6'9" Jason Tatum has that defensive mismatch against the 6'2" Jalen Brunson, drive to the basket. Why are you shooting a three-pointer? And I sound like I'm getting angry about it, but really I'm getting excited about it. Jason Tatum, shoot another three-pointer, man. When you come to Madison Square Garden, shoot as many three-pointers as you want. Yeah. Because if he shoots about as well as he did during Game 2, it's going to be cookies. It's going to be a comfortable win for the Knicks. Tatum finishes the night with 13 points, 5 for 19 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and 14 rebounds to boot.
Yeah, I mean, this has really been the truth for the Knicks the whole season, but in pretty much their last 6 playoff games, they won by 2, won by 1, won by 3, then won by 3, and then in this Celtics matchup, they won by 3 and won by 1. So each of the last 6 games from the Knicks have been decided by one score or less. It's pretty crazy stuff, and I think the biggest question for Knicks fans has to be, how sustainable will this be going against one of the better and we are going against one of the best teams in the league against the Celtics, which is why it's great. But what's not promising is the fact that we've been down 20 in both games. And really elite, well-built-out teams don't find themselves down 20 multiple times against the same team, Yeah. I think that's my biggest concern for this team.
And you know what? I think that is a perfectly reasonable concern, because it does beg the question, what happens if we can't overcome a 20-point deficit again in Game 3?
Yeah.
But I think that this matchup in MSG is going to be very different than a lot of what people are expecting. I know a lot of Celtics fans are expecting to actually come into the Garden and give the Knicks a stomping because, they're very confident in their team and they just assume that they can come out and play basketball wherever they want. But the truth is, I think Thibodeau did a really good job of scheming Karl Anthony Towns into the game for Game 2. He was completely absent in Game 1, but in Game 2, he absolutely came alive with 21 points and 17 rebounds on 9 for 16 from the field and no three-point shots made the entire night. So Towns had himself an absolutely ballin' game, and it just was impossible for anyone on that court to guard him. Horford couldn't guard him. Cornette couldn't guard him. Nobody. Tatum couldn't guard him. Nobody could guard him. So I think as long as Tibbs keeps Karl Anthony Towns' involvement where it's at, getting him involved early in the game, I think that we might actually get to see the Knicks come out and just beat the Celtics. No baloney, no nothing, just beat them in regulation. So that's what I'm hopeful for personally.
On the topic of Tibbs, I think he's coached a great first 2 games of the series.
Yeah, honestly. I'd say so. Yeah.
I think the biggest positive from him is that we see actual decent play from the bench. In particular, Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson have both found their roles in this, and they have every package that he's put on the court has had impact in one way or another,
Yeah.
Deuce McBride has been essential in both of those comebacks. So is Mitchell Robinson. I mean, he was on the court late in the game when the Knicks had the lead in order to draw fouls against them, because part of the Celtics strategy is to foul Mitchell Robinson because they know he's bad at making free throws,
Yeah, and that is just that's a scoundrel strategy. I don't mess with that. Why you punching our guy just to get him to the line, expecting him to shoot and miss?
It hasn't even worked.
And it hasn't even worked because the Celtics continue to get into foul trouble because they decide that they just want to foul Mitchell Robinson. So you know what? I appreciate the out-of-the-box thinking out of Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics, but ultimately, just give it up, you bums.
I think a really crazy stat to look at is that in this series so far, through the first 2 games, the Celtics have had the lead for 81 of the total minutes, and the Knicks have had the lead for 12 minutes.
And the Knicks are 2-0.
Yeah! It's a great feeling. It's a little concerning, though. I can't get over the fact that this is a little concerning because even though we've pulled 2 impressive wins out over them, it almost feels like we stole those wins.
Yeah, we definitely
stole those wins.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, the win is the only thing that matters.
True.
But despite these wins, the Celtics still are a better built-out team, and I don't think there's any doubt in my mind about that.
So what do you think the Knicks can do in order to prevent going down to such a deficit?
I think they really need to continue to harass. Their defense needs to continue to harass Tatum the way that they have, because Tatum has had an awful 2 games.
Yeah, really bad.
I think I would go as far to say that maybe aside from a couple games in the Warriors finals, these are 2 of the worst playoff games that Tatum has ever played.
Yeah.
I think I would say. And I think the Knicks have to continue to do whatever they've been doing to disrupt him in his flow, because he has not looked great, especially in closing. He's looked like one of the worst closing players in the playoffs.
Not only has he not looked great, he hasn't looked comfortable either.
No.
He doesn't look like he has a full grasp on the situation. We're used to this sort of calm and collected aura that Tatum gives off, but right now, you can see it on his face. He looks panicked. He's realizing what's at stake with this. He's realizing, I think the Celtics as a team are probably realizing that they did not come equipped to actually play this Knicks team, not anticipating the level of defense and the level of hustle and the level of heart that was going to be played out of this Knicks team. I think they expected to come out and stomp on us like we're a bunch of playoff cannon fodder, but all of a sudden they're on the next train to Madison Square Garden and we're up 2-0. So
I think another thing to look at is that Al Horford has been negative in productivity for the Celtics.
Yeah, he's been pretty
so
awful.
far, especially in Game 2. 29 minutes, 4 rebounds, 4 points. It's not going to cut it. He had a couple plays where I was like, okay, that's an easy bucket. He's a big guy, and he didn't get it.
Shoots the 3.
He hasn't been. He's been inefficient on threes. First of all,
terrible on threes. He didn't even make one, and he shot 5 of them.
Yeah, he's been inefficient on threes, and in the paint where you should be able to feel comfortable getting him some easy points on put-ins or whatever, he hasn't been good. So I think that's a big struggle for the Celtics, that Al Horford hasn't looked like his usual self. Jaylen Brown, while he's putting up good points, it's not like he's having a crazy impact on the game.
No.
Especially not in closing. And Jason Tatum has looked completely uncomfortable. It seems like the Knicks defense is just irritating him somehow. And he's not making good decisions.
Yeah.
Is really what it is.
And I think a big part of that comes down to OG. I think OG has done a phenomenal job on the defensive side of the ball. I think aside from Bridges and Hart, he's been the best defensive player on the team. And I think even at some points you could make the argument that he's been playing better defense than Hart. But OG has just done such a phenomenal job of getting bodies on these big guys. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they love using their size to their advantage. They love, especially Jaylen Brown, they love using that physicality and that hustle and that hostility. And OG has the physicals to hang right there with him. And he has that defensive IQ where if he's not actively guarding someone who's holding the ball, he is looking for an opportunity to come in and press that person and attack that person. And I think that's where a lot of that discomfort out of Tatum has come from, is that every time he tries to get in the paint, we crash on him. We'll have Tatum, or we'll have Hart come down, or we'll have OG Anunoby come down, and they'll start harassing Tatum, looking for that block shot or looking for that steal. And I don't know. I guess Tatum doesn't feel comfortable passing the ball right now, or he wants to play some hero ball or what. But I think ultimately that is the root of Boston's issues right now, is that they can't establish any space in the paint because that Knicks paint defense, man, we're just one of a kind out there.
I think McCall Bridges has been absolutely unbelievable in these 2 games so far. I remember the shot in Game 2, which made me sit up on the edge of my seat thinking they can actually pull off this comeback, was that step-back 3 that he hit.
Oh, yeah.
It was phenomenal. I think he's been playing great. I think I would give up 5 more first-round picks at this point. And both game-stealing steals.
Yeah.
Just great.
I mean, defense wins championships. That's what Nico Harrison has continued to say to justify the Luka trade, but we're finding out firsthand that this is actually real life. People clowned on Mikal Bridges all season for his lack of offensive output, and now he's right here making 2 of the biggest plays in recent Knicks history, I would say. Because going up 2-0 to Boston, I mean, this is a big deal. We got a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals right now. Yeah. And I'm just so excited to see where this series goes. You'll all already know how Game 3 ends by the time this airs, but we won't because we're recording this on Friday. But so make sure you leave a comment and tell us if the Knicks won Game 3, although I guarantee you we'll definitely know. When we get back, we're going to be talking about Boston a little more, and then we're talking about the other NBA playoff series. So make sure you stay tuned right here on Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutoSpa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutoSpa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to RomaDeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Welcome back, New York sports fans. And in case you forgot, we are up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics right now. Might be 3-0, might be 2-1 by the time this airs. You got to remind us in the comments section so that we can remember. But until then, let's talk a little more about Boston, because Boston's in a pretty interesting situation right now. They are on the cusp of, I think from a betting odds standpoint, one of the biggest series upsets in NBA history. Yeah. I mean, the Boston money line was monstrous, and those Knicks did not even look like they had a shot at coming in and tossing their hat in the ring for the East this year. But now all of a sudden, things are looking different. Brunson's hitting shots. McHale is taking the ball right out of Jaylen Brown's hands. Big Purr is getting involved down low. It's a thing of beauty. But what's really at stake for Boston with this?
Well, I don't think this is the biggest moment in Tatum's career because he's had so much higher pressure moments. But this is definitely one of the biggest moments.
I think you could make the argument that it is the biggest.
How so?
Well, obviously he has his finals runs, and you might say, well, that's it's the finals, it's a much bigger stage, it's much more important, and all of that I would agree with you. But for Tatum on a personal scale, this is one of the first years that Tatum has gotten the respect that I think a lot of Celtics fans thinks he deserves as a player.
As the defending champion.
Yeah, as the defending champion. It makes sense. People are finally putting a little respect on Tatum's name. So to be the defending champion and be talking about going for back-to-back and having all this, doing Superman trailers, calling yourself Superman and just being the man, and then all of a sudden you lose 2 games in a row after being up by 20 at home against the lowly New York Knicks. I think the pressure on Tatum, and maybe not on the entire Celtics team, but the pressure on Tatum now is higher than it's ever been because he's been underperforming and people have been looking to him as a reason why they're not winning.
Yeah. I mean, he has been bad closing, and that's really what it is. He hasn't been comfortable. We just talked about this in the last segment. But the thing is, that's really the biggest pressure thing for Tatum and the rest of the Celtics team is that they're not going to look the same this year as they did next year because they're an expensive team. And these new NBA tax rules, they're not going to be able to keep all these contracts on their team. So specifically guys like Drew Holiday or Kristaps Porzingis are guys that you probably won't see on this team next year, So there's a lot of pressure for them to perform well, especially knowing that they might not be as competitive next year or well built out because of these new rules that are being implemented.
Yeah, and I think that just builds even more pressure onto Tatum, because if you want to win multiple championships with this core, this is the last year to do it. You got to win you got to win 4 more games against New York when you're headed back to the Garden right now. And that is a stressful situation, especially since New York is by far one of the most aggressive and abrasive places to play basketball. I mean, you're going to the mecca of basketball, and you shot 0 for 5 on 3-point shots in the 4th quarter when you lost that 20-point comeback. You don't think New Yorkers are about to be grilling this dude? I'm a mild-mannered man, and I'm sitting here on the radio grilling Tatum. How do you think a Knicks fan down in MSG in Game 3 is going to be talking to him? It's going to be absurd.
I mean, it's huge. Have you seen that the average price for a New York Knicks Game 3 ticket versus the Boston Celtics is about the same range as the lowest Super Bowl ticket?
Yeah, it's $1,000 for a ticket.
Almost $800 to $90.
It's crazy how they can be selling tickets for that much. But hey, I mean, I guess if people will buy, if people will buy, then you can sell. So
hey, if I was living in New York City and I was making real money from a real job, I would go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it feels like a once-in-a-lifetime thing because the Knicks have not been this competitive in a very long time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been second round good, but we haven't been up 2-0 on the defending champs. Yeah. I mean, this is real stuff. And I think one other piece that you're going to want to look out for is don't be surprised if when the Celtics come to New York, they change up their rotations a lot. Don't be surprised if we start seeing some different odd combinations of guys out on the court. Mazzulla might start getting a little experimental, I mean, obviously the 3-point shooting mentality hasn't worked, so there is a possibility that we see a little bit more of I don't know what the proper term for this is, but a brawler rotation, guys that are good at getting to the rim and finishing, guys getting Jaylen Brown more involved, Tatum, and then obviously you got guys Horford and Porzingis and Cornet who can all get to the basket really well. I would say Drew Holiday is also in that category of guys that can get to the basket really well. So, if the Celtics decide that they're going to take a step back from the 3-point shot, which I think they should do considering how poorly they've been shooting, just get back to basics. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised if you see less involvement out of Peyton Pritchard and Derek White moving forward.
I think all of that relies on the health of Porzingis.
Yeah.
And in the Knicks in the regular season, Porzingis has went off against them in the regular season.
Yeah.
So I think a large part of why the Knicks are up 2-0 is because Porzingis isn't in the game. And the thing about that is, he's not healthy, but he's dealing with some mystery illness that hasn't been clarified, so that's keeping him to less than 20 minutes a game. But even in this game, he played 8 minutes. 14 minutes, got 8 points. It's definitely a bit concerning for the Knicks if Porzingis was to come back. I think that's something they would have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, naturally, of course. Porzingis is a huge part of that team offensively. and his absence has definitely been felt and been noticed. So yeah, I think you're pretty much right. I think as long as the Knicks keep their head on straight and they, keep an eye out for Porzingis and monitor that situation that's going on right there, I don't think a whole lot of adjustment in the game plan needs to be made as of right now. Anything else you want to say on that?
Not really.
All right, so then we're going to be talking about some Pacers and some Cavs, because just like your beloved New York Knicks, the Indiana Pacers have gone up 2-0, winning both games in Cleveland against Cleveland, and now they're headed back to Indiana, hoping to finish them off. Matt, what did you see out of this Pacers and Cavaliers game?
The thing is that, yeah, both of the home court teams in the East lost 0-2 on their home court for different reasons. The Cavs are without a lot of their star players, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. It's just a bit of a struggle to watch, because you see the impact those players have. Obviously, the defensive player of the year is out. So the Pacers are able to do things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And also, Tyrese Haliburton has been completely unbelievable.
Yeah, I would reckon to agree with that. Haliburton had the whole stadium, the whole Cleveland, chanting overrated at him, and he ends up hitting that final three-point shot to seal the game. So really just an unreal situation. I'm sure Haliburton went home and had a big steak dinner that night to congratulate himself. But yeah, he had a monstrous 19 points, 7 for 11 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, not to mention 9 rebounds to boot. So big game out of Haliburton. Yeah, he's been a guy that, has caught a lot of flack because of his tendency to disappear during the playoffs. So it was pretty cool getting to see him hit that big shot. Somebody else that I want to give a shout out to, Benedict Mathurin. That guy was hitting some shots out there, but he was also getting completely hacked up out there. He played a short 20 minutes and got 19 points, 6 for 10 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. And just some chump change at everything else. But he played himself a pretty good game, and he kept Indiana in that a couple times where it felt like they were, starting to fall behind against Cleveland. So definitely an exciting game out of those guys.
Yeah, I think another guy to look at is Andrew Nesmith. He's been playing pretty well. 23 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. That's pretty good. Playing 30 minutes a game. I think something to look at is that a lot of these players on the Pacers are playing decent minutes and getting decent minutes in the game. They have 3 bench players playing over 10 minutes, in TJ McConnell, Brandon Mathurin, and Toppin. I think they're all playing well, even though a lot of them don't have that many points. Mathurin's the only one that has over 15 points. So I think the Pacers are playing well, and they just got to keep it going. Yeah,
I'm inclined to agree with that. What kind of adjustments do you think that the Cavaliers can make in terms of their, starting roster? Because obviously, it sucks that they don't have Darius Garland and they don't have Evan Mobley and they don't have DeAndre Hunter. But ultimately, Donovan Mitchell dropped 48 points, So 48 points, 15 of 30 from the field. He shot 50%, 1 from 7 from 3. Awful. But other than that, almost got the double-double with 9 assists. But if Donovan Mitchell can go out there and score 48 points in a night and the Cavaliers still lose, what can they even do at that point?
They just need to hope that Garland comes back. I think that's really what they need to hope for. A lot of things are being left on the table when he's not in the rotation for them. And they're really feeling the impacts of that.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the defensive side. Guys like Nesmith and Miles Turner, they were scoring pretty much at their own whim, And I'm sure guys like Garland and Mobley would actually be able to help pick up some of the slack on the defensive end, because Jared Allen was playing some really good switch defense. Like, he was looking good when it was his responsibility to guard a guy like Nesmith or Nembhard or Haliburton, but he did not look good trying to guard Miles Turner. It got a little bit ugly out there. So I'm almost wondering if the Cavs are suffering from the same issue that the Celtics are, where they can't really establish themselves down low in the paint like that. But I guess I'm just going to have to watch some more film on that, come to a conclusion on that.
Do you think that Haliburton is one of the best players in the playoffs remaining?
No, I don't. I think, are we talking top 5?
Yeah, top 5.
Nah, I got probably SGA, Jokic, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, and probably Tatum all over Halliburton.
Yeah,
Donovan.
I would say the same.
I think Donovan Mitchell,
he's been
too.
unbelievably clutch in these playoffs.
No, he has been. He definitely has been, but I don't think he's done enough to warrant a spot higher than the guys that I just said, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Halliburton's on his way up. I think I like Halliburton.
Yeah, he's exciting. He's exciting. But when we get back, we're talking about the other two remaining series, Nuggets and Thunder, and Warriors and Timberwolves. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you stick around right here on Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5. News, Talk, Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostic. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutospa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutospa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, scrubbing, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Welcome back, NBA playoffs fans. It's Jake's Hot Takes. And the Nuggets got completely dog-walked by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, on a level that I feel sad for Nuggets fans after this absolutely crushing Game 2. Oklahoma City took the lead early and literally did not look back. The Nuggets couldn't even make it close despite their best efforts. Oklahoma City's coming out with a statement win. Matt, what did you see?
Just pure domination. And it's the type of win that OKC really needed after that game being stolen on the road by the Nuggets in Game 1. An impressive, hard-fought win for the Nuggets, but this OKC team just proves that it's a better, well-built-out team than this Nuggets team. Even though the Nuggets have the best player in the world, the Nuggets just don't have that many people that are able to step up in the way that OKC is,
Yeah. And one thing I'll say that, makes the imbalance very obvious. You go and you look at the shooting numbers for the Nuggets starters. You got Aaron Gordon going 3 for 12. You got Michael Porter going 2 for 10. You got Jamal Murray going 4 for 9. And then you look at that compared to the Oklahoma City Thunder starters. Jalen Williams going 6 for 11. Hartenstein going 6 for 7. Shea going 11 for 13. It's no wonder the Thunder won. They just had better shooting on literally every front. And they had better shooting coming off the bench too. Alex Caruso and Isaiah Joe were cooking. It was pretty wild. Andrew Wiggins too. Can't forget to shout him out.
So seeing this performance by the Thunder and the Nuggets, do you think the Nuggets have any chance in this series going forward, or are the Thunder going to just get back up to pace and forget about that Game 1?
I think it's going to be Thunder in 6. I think the Nuggets are going to manage to pull away one more game. They are headed back to Denver, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Nuggets manage to pull one off. But as good as this Nuggets team is, and as they got a lot of star power, I would say. But as much star power as they have, I think the Thunder, they're just built. They have so many guys that can give you, productive minutes. They have so many guys that can go out there and get you a bucket. They have so many guys that can play clamps on defense. It just doesn't feel fair in a lot of cases. So as much as I would like to see this game the series go to 7 games, I think it's ultimately going to be Thunder in 6.
I agree. I just don't think the Nuggets are well built out to the point where they can consistently compete with a team like the Thunder. And this game is just the showcase of this, honestly. The Thunder started scoring and they never looked back. I mean, getting almost 150 dropped on your head in the playoffs is not a good sign.
Yeah, and the Thunder barely even needed to have any of their guys play 30 minutes, too. That's the really scary part, is that Chet and Jalen Williams and Isaiah Hartenstein and Lou Dort, they were all on the court for less than 30 minutes. Shea was the only guy on the entire Thunder team that played more than 30 minutes. And that is just kind of scary, because if the Thunder can be that good while distributing their minutes across so many different players, I mean, they had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had 9 guys that weren't their starters get on the court. They're 14 deep right now. It's just ridiculous that they have that kind of depth. And despite the Nuggets' best efforts, they cannot get productive minutes out of all of their guys the way that the Thunder can. It's scary. It's scary hours for the Denver Nuggets right now.
I think a player to watch for the rest of the series, though, has to be Chet Holmgren. He didn't play that well in Game 1. He was notoriously dog-walked at the end of that game, and it just didn't go well for the team.
Yeah, he missed some 2 free throws.
He played well, not a lot of mistakes. So I think Chet Holmgren is a player that the team's success is very reliant on, obviously besides Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, and I would say, aside from Shea, because Shea is good defensively, but he's not that good defensively. But I would say other than Shea, the other starting 4 all played completely lights-out defense, with an additional shout-out, again, to Alex Caruso, because he played some tough defense, too. But Chet was stalwart, and he actually looked like he did a pretty good job of, stepping up to Jokic and at least causing him to think instead of just letting him hit that flow state where he can just play basketball however he wants. Chet was making him think, and I think ultimately that is going to be the key to it, is just slowing down Jokic. I mean, Jokic had what sounds like it probably would be like a career low for him in points in the playoffs. He finishes with 17 points on 6 of 16, 2 for 4 from 3. It wasn't a great game because Holmgren actually got up in his face and harassed him a little bit and made Jokic feel uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't like, obviously there were some issues coming from the play of the other starters on the Nuggets. I would say Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, and Jamal Murray all had pretty poor nights. Christian Braun had a really bad night. But, Jokic has proven that he can produce outside of his teammates' productivity levels. So the fact that, the team fell apart and then Jokic kind of fell apart, I think it's just a testament to how good that Thunder defense is.
I think Jamal Murray has been inconsistent across the entire playoffs so far. I mean, he had that one game against LA where he dropped 43 on their heads, and that was pretty good. But some nights he's just struggling to get above 20 points, and against a team like the Thunder, you need to have that.
Yeah,
you need you can rely on to score, and Jamal Murray is the point guard that has historically been able to do that for Jokic in the past, and he's just not looking like that version of himself anymore, you know?
No, I completely agree. And I think Murray's kind of falling out of that role of the guy who rises during the playoffs. I think that is a big piece for why we saw Denver get stomped so hard, because usually Murray is that high volume, high efficiency scorer who can, kind of, in the face of a really dangerous offensive team, he can keep the points flowing and he can keep the team on pace to, attempt a late comeback or extend the lead further than they already have, which they didn't have a chance to against the Thunder in Game 2. But, my point still stands. Murray and his usual role of just being that high-volume scorer was completely absent. I mean, it was terrible at him. 14 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 5. It wasn't even low efficiency. It just he didn't do enough. He needed more volume. But, Nuggets couldn't hold on to the ball quite a lot today. I know that they were having an issue with turnovers. They finished the game with 21 turnovers to OKC's 9. So not only did the Nuggets not perform well with the ball in their hands, they barely had the ball in their hands in the first place. So just problems all around. Anything else you want to say on that before we move on to the Wolves? All right, we're talking about Wolves and Golden State without Steph Curry.
Yep.
No, I can't lie to you guys. This series got immediately a lot more boring once Curry left the game. And it's sad because, on a team with Draymond and Jimmy Butler, how could I not be in love with the basketball game I'm watching? But no. It was a, poor performance out of Golden State. I think this was a must-have win for Minnesota. Obviously, you can't go down 0-2 on the road. That's how you lose a playoff series, right, Boston? But no, it was a great performance out of Minnesota. They had a lot of guys coming off the bench actually performing pretty well. Naz Reid with a big 11 points off the bench. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, big 20 points off the bench. And then, of course, Anthony Edwards himself going for 20 points, 6 for 13 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and almost got that double-double with the 9 rebounds poking out right there. What did you see? Who was your big over or under performer from this game?
Jimmy Butler has to be on that list. I mean, the Warriors acquired him thinking that if there was a game that Curry was an off game, that he'd be able to take the realms to the offense and do what he wants with it, and he just wasn't able to do that, And it's just not like what he was able to do in Miami those couple of years where they went to the playoffs,
Yeah.
So I think, especially because it seems like the next couple of games are going to be played without Steph, it's definitely something to be desired. They want to have a couple really good games from Jimmy coming forward,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think another player to pay attention to is Draymond Green, who got into a little bit of media headlines after the game where he drew his 5th technical foul of the playoffs, too short of receiving a 1-game suspension. Any idea on that?
Yeah, this is Draymond. He has always been a loose cannon. He has never cared about whether or not what he's doing is going to put his team in harm's way. It has always been about the ego. He wants to throw a punch. He wants to get up in somebody's face. He wants to, be this angry, dominant presence on the court. And the Warriors and Steve Kerr have obviously come to terms with the fact that they are never going to be able to control Draymond, at least not in any way that matters. And they're just going to continue to enable Draymond to do whatever he wants. He's going to go out there and throw punches and kick people in the nuts and be a menace and do all these things. And then at the end of the day, he's going to hop on a microphone and talk about how that's not who he is as a person, when literally that is the only piece of feedback we have ever gotten for Draymond Green as a person. I just think he's ridiculous, and I think without Steph Curry keeping him on a short leash, I think that this team under Draymond is going to fall apart in a really big way. Draymond just does not have that leadership instinct. He does not have that, he doesn't have any respect. He doesn't have any courtesy. He doesn't have any kindness. He's what his nickname would suggest. So
I mean, in the first game of this series, he actually played pretty well. But in this game, not so much. You don't see him doing the Draymond-like things you would hope to see. You just see him do the Draymond-like things that you hope you wouldn't see when watching it. Kuminga, it's just, I think the issue for them is that there's no number one scorer right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of volume and not a lot of efficiency. Buddy, Jimmy, Draymond, and Kuminga and Podzinski, they were all high volume, and none of them had particularly efficient nights. Nobody could just get hot, you know?
Yeah.
But
it's definitely a interesting thing for the Warriors going forward, and they're keep an eye on.
Yeah, any prediction for how the series is going to end?
It depends on when Steph comes back, but as of right now, I'm going to say Wolves in 6.
Yeah, I got Wolves in 6 too. When we get back, we're talking about some big NFL news. George Pickens finally on the move. Did I call it? I might have, but I might not have said it on the show. So make sure you stick around to hear my opinion on that right here on Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostic. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutospa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutospa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to RomaDeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, angry wide receiver fans, to all of you out there. We're talking about George Pickens. I bet you didn't expect us to be talking NFL during this exciting NBA playoffs, but there's some pretty big news coming out right now, and I think a lot of teams are going to end up being impacted by this. The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded wide receiver George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys, and the trade was for Pittsburgh will receive a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick, and the Cowboys will receive a 2027 fifth-round pick and George Pickens. Or, I'm sorry, a 2027 sixth-round pick. I misread that. And George Pickens. Immediately, this changes a lot of the dichotomies of a lot of the teams that are involved. Mainly, of course, Dallas and Pittsburgh. Matt, how do you think CeeDee Lamb is feeling right now?
I think he's feeling great. The biggest issue of the Cowboys' offense, obviously outside of Dak's health last year, was the fact that they had no solid option for receiver besides CeeDee Lamb. So I think he's feeling great. I've never been that high on George Pickens, honestly, and that's just because I'm not high as him on him as a number one receiving option. And I think it's a great fit with CeeDee Lamb, where CeeDee Lamb is a great slot guy. He can pick up a lot of yards like that. And George Pickens is your wideout guy. So I think the Cowboys can use him in those situations, and he's going to be a great addition for the Cowboys. I really do believe that. This is the biggest Cowboys trade in years. They're not a team that trades very much, so I think there's some purpose to it with this trade. I think it's going to be a good trade in the long run.
Do you think that Pittsburgh knew that they were going to be trading Pickens once they traded for DK?
Yeah.
And to follow up on that, do you think it was a behavioral thing out of Pickens that caused Pittsburgh to want to move off of him?
It's part of it, but I think that DK is just a better player than Pickens. I think he's a player that can be a number one on an offense. Well, I'm also not as high on DK as other people. I think he is better than Pickens, and I think a big part of it was the locker room issues that Pickens was causing.
Yeah, I mean, he's an incredibly tenacious personality, incredibly volatile. He's known for getting into fights with opposing defensive players. He's known for getting in spats with teammates. He's known for getting in spats with NFL staff. Basically, if you're moving and you're breathing, George Pickens is willing to pick a fight with you. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, here's what I'll say. I think that, I'm not asking anymore. I think that an older, experienced quarterback like Dak Prescott and an established wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb will be enough to put Pickens in his place and hopefully solve some of these behavioral issues that are causing him, because now Pickens is not the one anymore. He's not the primary guy. You're not the guy. CeeDee Lamb is the guy. Dak knows that. CeeDee knows that. Schottenheimer knows that, and especially George Pickens knows that. So hopefully this will be some time for Pickens to sit behind a much more talented wide receiver, pick up some, anger management skills and, some talent in the route running department, which has always been his main criticism. He's good for a highlight. He'll go up and he'll head top you any day of the week. It's just his route running that is not incredibly intelligent. But, Pickens, like you said, he's a young guy. He's only been in the league 2 years, and he's a guy that just oozes potential. So I am excited to see what Dallas does end up doing with him.
What do you think Dallas's win total is going to be for this season?
Oh, that's a great question. Playing in the NFC East is immediately like a big downgrade to what I think your win total is going to be, because you got to face the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. You got to face the NFC runner-up Washington Commanders. But I think I'd be most scared to face them Giants.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the Giants are the best team in the NFC East now. And I think Dallas is probably going to finish the year with about 7 wins.
Okay, be real. The Giants are not the best team.
Okay, they're close. The argument can be made. I can understand why. The argument can be made. The argument can be made that they're the best team in the NFC East. But look, I see you want to give respect to Philly, so we're gonna put a little respect on Philly. But Giants are the second best. Point is, it's a tough division, so I think the Cowboys are probably going to be sitting right around 7 wins this year.
7 wins? Really? I think they're going to be back to form next year.
Really?
And by back to form, I mean 12 wins and losing in the divisional round.
Wow, you really think so?
I think that is the Cowboys, and I don't think this move really puts them over the hump. It's not enough.
No, definitely not.
I just think they're a cursed franchise that are going to be destined to never make it past the divisional round. And I think no matter what they do, they're not going to be good enough. I think especially on defense. Their defense really took a step back last year from what it was the year before. I
mean, there are football players in the league today that have never seen the Cowboys make an NFC championship. So hang your hat on that. I've never seen the Cowboys make an NFC championship.
I don't think I ever will either.
No, probably not.
Probably not with Dak.
Definitely not with Dak.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Steelers a little bit. We've been so focused on the Cowboys. Do you really think that losing Pickens, do you think that was a good move for Pittsburgh? Removing the potential options for Rodgers to throw to?
Honestly, I just don't understand it, if I'm being completely honest. Because now you have to pay all this money to DK for a guy who has a similar skill set than George Pickens.
Yeah.
Minus the locker room stuff. I don't really like it, if I'm being real. I think the Steelers have been on a pretty bad trajectory recently, even though they've made the playoffs 4 years in a row. They've gotten blown out in each of those games,
Yeah, it's not like those appearances.
I think it's crazy. I don't know. It just seems that the Pittsburgh, while they've been one of the greatest teams in recent NFL history, it seems like they're on a very bad track right now. And I think Tomlin's going to be gone within the next couple of years.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
And what about the potential DK and Rodgers connection? Because I don't know about you, I'm assuming the Steelers are just going to sign Rodgers, right?
I think they are going to sign. They are going to sign him.
Okay, so how do you think that DK and Rodgers connection is going to go? Do you foresee the Steelers' offense getting better than it was last year?
I mean, Rodgers is an above-average quarterback at this point. I think he's going to be better than Wilson or Fields was last year. I just think the taxation with that is having Aaron Rodgers on your team.
Yeah.
And that's what the Jets have been experiencing the past 2 years. I mean, Rodgers was injured with an Achilles tear, and he's talking about, I'll be back this season and all that.
Yeah, he'll be back in time for the playoffs. You got to make the playoffs first, buddy.
It's not even that Rodgers was bad. It's just that the Jets management was terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Steelers management is nearly as bad. But it's just kind of confusing where they're at as a franchise right now. They've still never had a losing season, so they're just clinging on to that.
Yeah, that's all they got going for them.
That's going to be enough. I mean, if they really do roll into this season with Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback,
that's going to be bad.
I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
Ever since Big Ben was retired, they've been in purgatory with QB play.
Most definitely. One thing that I do want to comment on, though, is it does seem like we've seen a lot of wide receiver replacement going on. Obviously, the Seahawks replaced DK with Cooper Kupp, and the Rams replaced Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams, and the Cowboys are taking George Pickens. I think the way that Pittsburgh went about this wide receiver replacement was very poor, and I think the way that Dallas did it was very smart, because Pittsburgh sent away their number one option, the guy who realistically would be the most comfortable and most acclimated to Tomlin's scheme and style. They got rid of him, and now they're bringing in another guy who has the same skill set, has the same issues, fills the same role, but is older, requires more money, and has a higher upside. The Cowboys, on the other hand, they add a low-cost, high-tenacity player to complement their already superstar caliber wide receiver, and they're not going to have to pay as much money as the Steelers are paying for DK Metcalf. So I think the Cowboys made out like a bandit. I think Pittsburgh is a little dumb for this.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. I think that if they were going to move Pickens, why not do it before the draft to try to get some capital?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's it feels like a long-term play, but it's not, but then it is, but then I don't know.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Any last comments on that?
I just think that Pittsburgh, obviously, they're going to end up winning 9 wins anyway, now I'm saying this, but their team just seems like it has no talent.
Yeah,
and that's really what it is.
No, I agree.
They have the bare minimum. They have a good defense. They have a good offensive line, but they have no talent.
Yeah, and Tomlin isn't the answer. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode of Jake's Hot Takes. We thank you so much for listening. Make sure you tune in next Thursday at noon. We're going to be doing, it's the last episode recorded until we're back for the summer, and then that's when stuff's going to get real serious. So make sure you tune in next Thursday at noon right here on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. And from Jake's Hot Takes, we'll see you next time.